Welcome! It's real Star Wars Day. That's right. It's time for the Super Sully Sunday stream. If it's your first time here, then walking into this church of the geek culture with your evangelist of pop culture and comics, you know you could bless yourself with the holy water at the door by smashing that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed already, now is the best time in the world to do so. It's Star Wars Day. It's real Star Wars Day. That's right. It's May the 25th, and I am the OG Star Wars fan. That's right. Indeed. How you doing today? Good to see you. We're going to celebrate real Star Wars Day. We got some comic books. I only read 4 comic books this week. I mean, some weeks, you don't find your pirate chest. That's fine. That's part of it. It's just the thing, It's like, hey, I'm just grateful and blessed to have, been part of this reviewer culture for so long, but some weeks, it just don't happen. But I still go to my local comic book shop and spend money there. The big mission of this show is to get you to go to your local comic book shop, your LCS, that's right, and spend some money there. Your local comic book shop is an independent bookstore. It's a small business. It is the American dream, the American way. Hence truth, justice, and ... Superman says that a lot, or used to. Well, he still does. You know what I mean? Only a commie would want to take that away from you, or Superman. You gotta, keep your eye on them. How you doing? I found dark mode on my studio screen, and I'm a lot happier. I don't know why. Whew! Had a great episode of Comics Aficionados yesterday. Wes is on vacation, so Aaron Sparrow took over as our fearless leader, fearless and peerless. We had a good time, and we also got some blowback too. From Richard C. Meyer, aka your boy Zach. I mean, geez. It's like, come on, man. You can't bitch about shitty shit without someone trying to blow sunshine up your ass. I mean, what's wrong with that? What's up with that? No, I don't, you know what I mean? Jeez, he's got a an audience to play to. Right, exactly. If you go to a Kiss show and they start, playing ABBA, it's not what the audience expected or wanted or paid for. Something like that. Welcome to Real Star Wars Day. We might do a shorter show today because we don't have a lot of comics to review. If sometimes it's like, if I'm not buying them, I won't read. I go out of my way to read them. Unless they're part of like that week's kind of what I call homework, and so yeah, I mean, let's just get to it. Let's review some comics. What's in the bag? We had 4 comics this week from our local comic book shop. 4 floppies. We have Vatican City #2 for $5.99 from Dark Horse Press, written by Mark Miller, with art by Per Berg. Great panels, funky, interesting art, and it just expands upon this vampire world that the story takes place in. And there's some hand-drawn onomatopoeia, So Per Berg is the artist formerly known as Narwhal, and he is doing the art, coloring, and the lettering on this book, and that's really cool. I mean, look at that's Vatican City. The vampires are shelling Vatican City. There's something going on, Hey, Mark Howard, how are you? Happy Star Wars Day. Good to see you, Mark Howard. How are you doing? Lane Kramer showed up a little earlier. I think he's talking about thumbnail for the, with my big goofy smile here. It's okay. I think it suffers a bit from Act 2, just because Act 2 leaves you at the nadir. What's the nadir? The nadir is the opposite of the apex, the high point. So the nadir is the lowest point in the story that the heroes can go. And then fortunes change. And, so Act 3 is about resolving, climbing action, and resolution in the climax. So this is like chock full of Act 2-ness. And so I think this is going to read better as a trade paperback. And yet I'm here for the floppies because, that's what we do. I like it. And also I like Pear. He's a good guy and a really good artist. And we have also from DC Comics, we have Ram V, New Gods number 6. Most of the art in this is by Felipe Andrade, who also does his own coloring. Then we have Evan Cagle finish the story by, bridging what happened last month with Orion versus Mr. Miracle, and then Superman shows up. But we have in here the main character of this slice of the story is the Black Racer, and was death on skis, and that's what Jack Kirby was going for in the Fourth World. It's true. But this beautiful, beautiful art by Felipe Andrade, who does his own colors. And look, this is Don't Fear the Reaper, the Racer. Okay, you could tell that's hand drawn. That's not like some cut and paste font out of some kind of letter generator. I mean, that looks really like it's got some feel to it. I like that. I like that a lot. And I love these colors. Felipe Andrade was the artist on Ram V's 6-issue wonderful, one of my favorite comics from last year on Boom Studios was Rare Flavors. And it was just this great, I call it a comic book. It was that good. It really reminded me of like old Vertigo books, when Gaiman and Ellis and Ennis and they ruled the world, and Morrison. I love those books. Hey, Dwayne, how are you? We have Lane Kramer says, I actually read my Marvel polls this week first. I'm loving Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, and Incredible Hulk 25. It was an awesome confrontation between Hulk and Thor. I still have to read New Gods 6 and Absolute Flash number 3. I hope you're liking Absolute Flash. What's up, Fear Monarch? How are ya? Fresh from the trip to my local Ollie's after they mailed me a coupon for 15% off my purchase. Great. Did you get anything good? You got anything to make Doc or Aaron Sparrow jealous? But yeah, I mean, this is like, I love New Gods. Hello. Get the Fourth World Omnibus right over there. Speaking of Hulk number 25, dig this wraparound cover. Now, 25th issue is it's traditionally a milestone issue, sure, but it's the regular $4.99 price. Beautiful cover by Nick Klein. Beautiful art, awesome art by Nick Klein. Great fight scene between Thor and Hulk. And I'm here for this. And also, hand-drawn onomatopoeia sound effects. Hulk is a loud comic book. And it's so cohesive with the art. Look at that. Look at this. This is a great tactic by Hulk. Thor has called Mjolnir back to him, so Hulk hitches a ride on it and uses his mass behind the momentum and takes out the Warrior 3 and Sif and Thor, 5 Asgardians, and one boom! One doom! See that? Love that. It's really good. Then I took a chance. Those 3 were on my pull list. And so I grabbed this off the shelf. took a chance on it. This is Spider-Man and Wolverine #1, written by Mark Guggenheim, with art by Kari Andrews. Kari rhymes with the Tare. That's how he says how to pronounce his name. Let's see. Fair Monarch said, well, I probably just annoyed Doc. They had these $250 box sets of Scott Pilgrim for $50 a pop. And I said, the heck with it, and bought the black and white box and a color one. Oh, cool. They did have a deluxe of the 4 Dark Horse issues of Star Wars: A New Hope. Oh, interesting. And Dwayne Muth catching up on the last 3 weeks of comics. Yeah, sometimes they just accumulate, and you're just like, what am I even doing this for? They just keep, I'm just buying these comics that, I'm not even reading. So sometimes it's like when Mysterio's involved in anything, you have to kind of, you have to kind of double guess what's going on here, because it just might be sleight of hand, an illusion, and something that just propels story, So a lot of this takes place under the influence of Mysterio, but we start off with one heck of a splash page. Wolverine, look, I just love Kari Andrews' exaggeration and the panels, the characters. Some great artwork in here. And Mark Guggenheim does, a decent job. Look, this is a classic Kari Andrews kind of Spidey pose. Just like we just saw him in Spider-Man Reign 2. And that's it for comic books this week. I only got 4 comic books and nothing else to review. I didn't read anything else. That's nice. It's a nice light week for me. That's right. Let's see. What else do I have here? My t-shirt. I made this t-shirt on Amazon for less than $20. Was it Amazon or was it somewhere else? But it was a t-shirt generator. I specifically did a Google search to find the Star Wars font. So this Star Wars font came with the Rebel logo as well as part of it. So this is my joke. What has Kathleen Kennedy done to Star Wars? She's made it a safe space. A safe space for all, girls, sissies, and taking things away from boys. Oh, you poor boy. Well, you know what? Jeez. And then you're going to cry when I don't give a shit about what you like. Hey, AL, how's it going? Good to see you. Awesome. Hey, James, how's it going? Good to see you. Happy Real Star Wars Day. Next time you're at your shop, pick up Robo-Wolf from Dark Horse. It's the most dumb fun you can get for $4.99. And that is a suggestion and a recommendation. That's great. Good to see everyone out there. So yeah, it's Real Star Wars Day. On May 25th, 1977, Star Wars was released. We're not talking A New Hope. That didn't happen until Empire Strikes Back came out. And I remember being in the theater on opening night on May 21st, 1980, 7 years old, with my 6-year-old best friend right next to me and my auntie, who took us both. And it opened up and it said episode 5. Because I knew what episode V meant. I knew what a Roman knew. I was a smart kid. I could, read, write a little bit, for a kid. But I knew what some of the Roman numerals were, because we grew up Roman Catholic, just the Stations of the Cross and blah, blah, woof, woof, all down the line. I'm out and about with mother-in-law. She flew in for my daughter's graduation next week. Aw, ain't that nice? I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're getting along. Yeah, so it's Real Star Wars Day. And how are you celebrating? Do you celebrate Star Wars Day? Me, I celebrate. I've kind of changed my way about this. I celebrate all month long. May is Star Wars month. See, if if you can have someone culturally appropriate a whole month for their cause, why can't you? You know, because June is in days. It's just a week away. We're a week away from June, and that starts Pride Month, and we're gonna see how big how big is Pride 2025 gonna be? Who knows? Probably not as loud as previous Pride months. You know, do you need a whole month to celebrate Pride? I mean, isn't that like, wow, isn't that very prideful? Of like, you know, I don't care because, you know what I mean? It's just, it's got nothing to do with me. It's not about my culture. It's not about my, you know, we have, you know, attention-seeking individuals just seeking normalization. And sure, have at it. You know, good luck with that. I mean, but what happens when it's normalized? And you're just like the rest of us. Hello, Andrew. How are you? Good to see you. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And a happy, real Star Wars Day. That's right. Also on March 25th, 1983 was released Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back, released on May 21st, 1980. May 25th is also Frank Oz's birthday. Frank Oz, the puppeteer and voice of Yoda. Indeed. I think, what is it, May 15th? May 16th is George Lucas's birthday. We start off the month with 05, 01, 501, 501st. So May 1st is the 501st day. 501st is Vader's Legion of clone, then stormtroopers. You know, that's, that was Anakin Skywalker's unit of clone troopers, the 501st, led by Captain Rex. And they had the distinctive blue and white markings. And, you know, that's part of the Clone Wars cartoon series. So when you see in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin, no, not even Anakin anymore, the nascent Darth Vader, walking up to the Jedi Temple with all the clone troopers. That's the 501st. We'll go in and, you know, take down the Jedi Temple. I was on Pops this morning. Pops Jones has he's celebrating all day long. So if you're jonesing, no all pun intended, if you're jonesing for some more Star Wars talk, Pops is celebrating all month long. Let me get you the link for that. I'm looking for this link. Star Wars tour. There we go. I'll put the link for our show. Exactly. And I've been arguing with people over at your boy Zach's station. Not really arguing. I just he was throwing shade at Wes again. So what? That's Richard's like, well, I was doing things, making fun of people on the left. Now I'm making fun of people on the right. And that's his brand, and that's what he does. It's just weird because he's like taking shots at he's taking shots at Eric July, heel versus babyface, which I don't mind. Those two might or might not have it coming. Gary Nerdrotic, you know what I mean? They're just critical drinker. You know, Ryan Kinnell, Ryan knows a lot of Star Wars. I got a lot of respect for him, but he's just not my cup of tea. He's not my cuppa. And the geeks and gamers culture, you know, the whole outrage thing, the whole thing of right-wing people, or right-leaning people. And then he also takes shot at Wes from Thinking Critical. That's literally my team. I'm on my third year of being on Comics Aficionados. I am blessed and grateful, but I don't need to be, and I am not white knighting for Wes. Wes can take care of himself. Anyone in the back room can tell that I don't think Wes really cares. And if he does care, he ain't showing it. You know, and he's just kind of blowing it off, being like, because they were both in the military. They've dealt with people, and they've dealt with people that, you know, you might or might not like. And does it really matter? Seriously, does it? It's good. And so yeah, but it's like you want to, like, say something critical about the show, but I mean, did you even watch it? In a way, I don't know. He's taking shots at Neon from Clownfish TV as well. Yeah, I mean, and wow, this just come out of the blue, and then just people ask questions behind the scenes too, and be like, hey, what's wrong with this dude? Oh well, kind of reminds me of two things: Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger's legendary book that we all had to read in high school, and that usually, a lot of potential assassins, have a possession, and but the protagonist, the main character, Holden Caulfield, he's a teenager growing up. He's smart, but he doesn't possess wisdom, and he opens up the story talking about how his brother that he idolizes and who's a great writer, that he's someone that he attains to be like someday as a writer, but his brother is out in Hollywood prostituting himself writing screenplays, and how grown-ups are phonies, you know what I mean? And so like all these tinges of Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye, and also of Howard Stern. Now, Howard Stern, in the past 10 years, has switched his intent. His focus has switched to what is his legacy? What is he going to be leaving behind? How is he going to be remembered? Is it for did we pass 5 minutes? Yeah. Is it for anal ring toss and blackface and race jokes and having hookers and prostitutes and throw up humor and scatological stuff and just goofy hijinks, the whack pack, the whole thing of 90s? I was there for 90s Stern, and I love it. It's a big reason why I watch Jack Show and Ethan Van Sciver. Those are the spiritual successors to Howard Stern, the 90s terrestrial FM radio Howard Stern. Then he migrated to satellite radio, to Sirius XM eventually, when the stations were consolidated. Got a huge payday. But only in the past 10 years, he changed his manager. Now his manager he's got a mission to kind of break away. He's still got Robin, he's still got Gary. I think he's still got Fred. Everyone's getting old too, and thank God Robin's getting old too. She fought and beat the Big C. God bless. But they don't do. I don't listen to XM Sirius. I've barely listened to New Stern in years. I catch little glimpses off of YouTube. So he's just not doing his old shtick anymore. It's like he traded in his old fans and his old, the old shock jock thing for trying to be someone a bit more respectable. I always thought that Howard Stern was an exceptionally really good interviewer. Hands down, one of the best and most underrated interviewers in pop culture. He could just really get emotionally connected to his subject, ask great questions, fearless with follow-up questions. I mean, he's really good like that. But check out Pops. He was just over there. Dwayne was just there. Dwayne tuned in this morning. I was on with Pops. We had Angry Canadian and James the Ginger Ninja Harris. And that was fun. We had like an hour and 45 minutes. We ushered in real Star Wars Day at 8:30 a.m. this morning. And he's going all day long. Well, he has content airing all day long, but he's got at least minimum, I think, 3 live shows. And so he's got one that's premiering at 4 o'clock. And we'll see that. I wanted to get over to the bar too and have supper and to watch the hockey game. The Dallas Stars are playing the Edmonton Oilers in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, and I'm just a huge hockey fan. I get tomorrow off. Tomorrow's Memorial Day, and God bless Memorial Day. If you have freedom and speak English, thank a veteran, but also thank the ones who never came home, who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And that is the spirit of Memorial Day, not to be confused with Veterans Day. Veterans Day is for the living. Memorial Day are for those who pay the ultimate sacrifice, who pay the ultimate price for our liberty, for our freedoms, for our nation, for our culture, for our borders, for our way of life. Think about it. And I'm a lifelong civilian, and I am the recipient of great blessings that have been provided to me, literally in the blood of patriots and soldiers, men and women, for about 250 years. Actually, 248 years, to be honest with you, this coming year. It's 249. Yeah, that's true. And so happy Memorial Day. So remember, you know what I mean? Think of if you see an American flag at a memorial, maybe just give it a moment and put your hand on your heart. And maybe even just say the Pledge of Allegiance silently, or a small prayer, whatever you want to do. But it's real Star Wars Day. Yeah, fictional wars. Here we go. Fictional, we're talking, the price of real wars. But also we have this fanned celebration day. We have a real celebration day, or a real day of observance. More like it. And then we have also this yin and yang, this positive and negative, this A and B, this internal and external, this, real and this fiction of war. And some of the big talk of Star Wars lately has been hyper-realism, making content for adult audiences. Well, not adult audiences in that rated, in a kind of rated R way, but not as like Star Wars has traditionally been aimed at a general audience. Kids are included in that general audience. And kids made up a huge part of Star Wars. I know. I was there and blessed to be there for the Generation 1, the first generation of Star Wars. I was 4 years old on May 25th, 1977, when the movie came out. I do not remember seeing it on opening night. I must have seen it a few times. It got re-released every year, just a couple of times a year, to be honest. I remember the birthday cake, the famous birthday cake poster. That was for its 1 year anniversary, probably March 25th, 1978. That's probably when I saw it, but it had action figures on the movie poster too, in a birthday cake. Let me see if I can find that. Birthday cake movie poster. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. 1 year old today. This is on from eBay. Oh, come on. $9,000 for an original. But let's show this. Share the screen. Fadamaka. Here is, this is what I'm talking about. So this is probably when I saw the movie for the first time, when I was 5. And those are the action figures. And I had the majority of these action figures. I had Stormtrooper, Death Squad Commando, Death Squad Commander. It wasn't the Death Star Commander, it was Death Squad Commander. Did I have Vader? Did not have Leia. I had 3PO. I had an R2. I had a Luke. I had a Chewbacca, and I had a Tusken Raider out of the originals. But this is this is a real movie poster. I want to get a movie poster, a nice big one, for my living room. But yeah, let me just get out of that there. Nice. I didn't even look at the original movie. Yeah, I remember that from when I was a kid. That's pretty. Thanks, nice, great job. And thank you. Yeah, a lot of jerky hatred out there. Wes is okay. He is okay. And if it's, you know, I mean, hey, you know, Richard's doing what Richard's doing. Way to go, kid. Sure. He's saying that all comics are good now. We don't have to, you know, be so negative and focusing on all these 2018 talking points. And it's like, yeah, even I'm the nice guy of the show, and I'm the most positive person, you know, in this show. That's like, I don't mean that like it's to toot my own horn. I'm not bringing my sex life into this. No, I'm saying that because, like, such as last week, I read 19 Marvel books. Only 3 of them were good, but that's about individual taste as well. You know, it's just, there are probably less than 20 books out of 800. You know, 20 is what percent? 20 is what percent of 800? That's 2.5, and that's just that's like 800 is including every single press out there, every single floppy that could be ordered by your local comic book shop. It's not, you know, let's ask how many comic books are released each month. It's tricky. No central. Show more. Come on. Give me any kind of answer. 538. DC and Marvel publish about 50 comics a month. I mean, it's 12 comics each Wednesday. About. How often are comic books published? No, wrong answers. Okay, get. But yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm just a little distracted with all of my blinking and beeping and my windows here. But yeah, it's real Star Wars Day. It's May 25th. We talk about Star Wars enough on the channel. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I wish the Disney Star Wars was better. I mean, I wish it was made for that general audience. And we were starting to say that now something such as Andor is made for that adult-oriented audience. It's using that's the modern paradigm. If you want to know what is the modern audience, the modern audience is still the general audience, but it's compartmentalized. So you have like something such as, you have offerings such as Skeleton Crew and Young Jedi Adventures made for kids, more kid-oriented. You have The Acolyte. You've definitely focused at, you know, the rainbow people and the alphabet people and feminists and women. You know, that's in the show's DNA, and that's how it's produced and presented, especially in the news and in the media, and that's the expectation wrapped around the show as well. Then you do have genuine offerings made for the general fan. You have Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. People see 3 was that's I don't know. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the Book of Boba Fett. You know, these are most definitely made, for that general audience, for the old fans included, the new fans. It just, I'm not one to say that Disney breaks lore and canon. I'm not going to say that. Why? I'm not defending Disney. Disney canon is an alternate universe. Disney canon cannot affect or perturb the Lucas canon, the Lucas years. That's its own thing. That went from 1977 until 2012. And that's closed. It's a closed entity. Nothing Disney can do can harm it. Especially if you have like the 4K 77, the 4K 80, and the 4K 83, which are the despecialized editions that try to do a cleaned up, beautiful version of the original trilogy movies. I have my original trilogy movies, the 2005 DVDs of episodes 4, 5, and 6 on the bonus discs are the last time they ever published the original trilogies. And those are my prize in my collection. I just moved into my mom's condo after she passed away. God bless you, Mom. Thank you. I've finally, after months, got my living room back after it looking like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark with nothing but crates of stuff in there. And what was the first movie I watched on my giant TV? Remember the TV that used to be in the background? That's in my living room, serving its purpose. Of course, it was Star Wars, 77. It's not A New Hope. It's not Episode 4. It was Star Wars, 1977. And you can still see the little squares around the TIE fighters as they swarm into the Millennium and Falcon. You know, and hey, Titus Paul. Good to see ya. Yes, Dwayne, Peter David passed away last night, succumbing to his physical ailments. We've been hearing about Peter David. Peter A. David is a prolific writer of comic books and also of Star Trek novels. I knew him before. I wasn't reading Hulk in the 80s and 90s. I knew like Dale Keown's art. Who could? I mean, it just leaps off of the shelves and those covers, sure. But I wasn't into reading Peter A. David and comics. I knew him from Star Trek novels. He wrote a lot of Star Trek, and he has gone to the great beyond. So God bless you, Peter A. David, and your family and your daughters, and just like God bless you. You know, please rest. You've earned it. And but Star Wars, yeah, Disney canon cannot hurt anything that they do. Like the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show that breaks canon. Oh no, people's in Endors or someone button. She's doing the thing and she's making it messy. No, there are two Mon Mothmas. One in the old universe and one in this new property universe. And remember, the Disney Mon Mothma is the one responsible for demilitarizing the New Republic and weakening, putting them in a position that let the First Order rise. So basically, everything is the woman's fault. Take that, feminism. You really painted yourself into a corner with that one. And the original, expanded universe, Mon Mothma was an interesting character. She actually dies of some kind of ailment, and then it's a big thing because she has to pass the torch over to Princess Leia, who is now like the sole spiritual figurehead leader of the New Republic. While still keeping married to Han Solo with their 3 kids. Oh man. Peter David, R.I.P. Dwayne says, I met Peter a few times over the years. Nice guy. Indeed. So yeah, so it's real Star Wars Day. So we've had this like ongoing conversation in Star Wars fandom let me ask, when did May 4th become a thing? That's the first thing. It says gained significant traction in 1979 when a British newspaper published a congratulatory ad for Margaret Thatcher's election, which included that phrase. It must have been May the 4th be with you. This sparked a wave of fan-driven celebrations, and since 2013, Disney has officially observed May the 4th with Star Wars events and festivities, and that is the AI overview that I got from Google by Googling that. So it's May the 4th is a Disney thing. Disney also releases their big movies in December. Episodes 8, 9, and 10, 7, 8, and 9 were released in December. Everything else, that's why I flipped my own narrative and instead of just being like, oh, May the 25th is Orthodox Star Wars Day. It's real Star Wars Day. Darn it. You know what I mean? Oh, you fake fans. Oh, you Disney creeps. You unlikable Disney, you nerve herders, you laser brains, moof milkers at Disney, I swear, are celebrate, only fake fans celebrate May the 4th. I kind of get over that myself, because that's rather judgmental and kind of mean, because you could be, I root for Disney Star Wars in a way. I want there to be good Star Wars. There just hasn't been. I haven't watched Andor either. People keep telling me, you should watch Andor. You would like that. Coming back full circle, though, to the adult kind of content, the rated R nature. No nudity, but violence and political intrigue. People say it's kind of Games of Thronesy with all the political intrigue, but also the attempted sexuality assaultes, SA attempt, and even saying it out loud. He tried to grape me. He said that's what Dick said about the dead Imperial officer she bludgeoned to death, defending herself. Yeah, go girl. Sure. But then I was thinking about a parallel. And is it fair? Is it unfair? I know they're two different properties and IPs, but I feel they have a similar kind of vibe, and a genesis and an appeal to a general audience. And I'm thinking Star Trek. All right. We had 1966 to 1968. You had Star Trek, the original series. You had in the early 1970s, you had the animated series, which was like the fourth year of the 5-year voyage. Then you had in 1979, you had the motion picture. 81, you had 82, you had Wrath of Khan. You had all down the line. Then in 1987 becomes Star Trek: The Next Generation, a brand new TV show, and it's kind of like it's the next generation. All right, and that first season or two they had some really graphic special effects. They really did, and tackled really allegorical themes as well, kind of like original series did. But they brought up one thing that was very on the nose. Tasha Yar grew up on a refugee planet that was abandoned by Starfleet, apparently due to I think it was due to a border dispute or something. But the survivors, former Starfleet citizens on this planet, it became like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic world where scavengers and tribes had to fight and kill and die to get along for resources and things. So Tasha Yar grew up on this planet with her little sister as well, who comes back. It was a character in one episode, but it was very explicitly said that they had she cut her hair short, like boyish too, to avoid the grape gangs. So they mentioned that SA in Star Trek years ago, back in 87. Nobody blinked. Nobody batted an eye. We didn't have the social media. We didn't have this over-connected fandom community, and we didn't have outrage farmers. Not in the way that we have it now. Not in this 21st century digital media, social online thing that we have. You had Starlog magazine, Fangoria, stuff like that. You had a Star Trek magazine. But I thought it was fair. I thought it was, if you think it's fair, you think it's unfair, let us know, especially in the comments section. Keep those comments coming. And if you're new to the show, please think about subscribing. Would love to earn your subscription. I need to talk about cooking more. I've been asked by some longtime viewers, hey, when are you getting back to doing cooking videos? That's a good and fair question. I hear you, and I concur. And Do, 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 do. I like the music. And we got a lot of compliments. And so who cares what Richard C. Meyer thinks? I love the guy. I really do. I watch his show. I'm current on him. Been watching him for years. I usually get along with him. Just because he's picking on Wes doesn't mean I'm going to white knight for Wes or have to over defend my show, our show rather. The shows that I'm on with Wes. I mean, it's like the show speaks for itself. And we've had trolls before. I know how to deal with trolls. I have a way to deal with trolls. Yes! They are like two different kind of brands of fiction. I know the Star Trek borders on more of science fiction. And Star Wars is definitely science fantasy. You know, and but I just thought it was interesting because, you know, and then like in the expanded universe and in the books and in the comic books, SA took place. It was part of, you know, so it's, I think the only thing separating all of this is the online connectivity and the outrage culture. You know what I mean? I don't want to contribute to an outrage culture. I don't want to punch down on Disney fans. I don't want to punch down on Disney content, really. I think the content speaks for itself. I think its viewership would speak for itself if there is transparency and honesty in those numbers. Are fans satisfied? What, like, you know, how healthy is Star Wars? I mean, it legitimately still makes money. You know, to Kathleen Kennedy's bosses, she's doing her job. She's evolving and elevating the iconic brand. She is appealing to a broader source of revenue by appealing to a diverse set of new customers. These are Ivy League school, business school ideas. It's what they are, and that's it. So by definition, Kathleen Kennedy is a success. She's going to retire with all the bells and whistles. They will name film schools after her. She is the woman that broke the glass ceiling of Hollywood, a former boys' club. She made Lucasfilms on purpose, 50-50 men and women in developmental levels and executive levels. And they made Star Wars into a girls' brand. Or did they? By including girls and with the academic, postmodern, Ivy League business school mentality is catering to women. Is that, you know, what did that do to the intrinsic nature of Star Wars? It changed Star Wars in an elemental way. And I'm not sure. It's not about like or dislike. If it was likable, if it was entertaining, I would already be watching it. I would have had a Disney Plus account. I'd be paying for it. I'd be raving about it. I'd be telling you, hey, did you see that last episode of Ahsoka? So see, there you go again too. Ahsoka, made for the general audience, and it plays well in their own. I was a big fan of Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, the animated show. I liked that a lot. I liked Clone Wars. They both live on my Star Wars shelf in the living room. I have a dedicated Star Wars shelf. I'm blessed and grateful for it. It continues. It does, because it has everyone from the cast showed up except for Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov. Women ruin almost everything. This is right. Sorry, ladies. I know we got a couple ladies out there who who watch the show, and it's not a misogynist remark. It's more of just it's like the old joke, like women say, like, we gotta have to get all these clothes to impress men, and we have to, like, and the guy would say, like, listen, girl, I'm not the one who's gonna judge you for like wearing the same thing over and over again. Another chick's gonna do that. Something like that. Women can be mean, and women can, like, especially to each other. I don't know. There is a feminine energy. There is a masculine energy. There are women's properties and there are men's properties. Then there's I think Star Wars just worked better when it was that general audience, maybe boy focused, because Star Wars was a boys brand. Those action figures, those were boys' toys. Now, they don't sell toys anymore. They sell nostalgia to aging fans. And there are, and there's what I think too is why are Disney Star Wars fans and the younger fans, there's a very good representation of fans who like the old stuff. I really feel that the torch has been passed. I've met a number of young fans who are just like, yeah, the Disney stuff isn't quite right. You know what I mean? It's the old stuff or nothing. But then you have the overamplified voices of a huge minority of newer fans, and unlikable and insufferable. It goes along with feminist energy too. I'm sorry, but that's the whole deal. It's like, you don't have to like me to respect me. And this is our Star Wars. So I'm a young person. I'm thinking, like, I'm empathizing. I'm role playing. Play along. Come on, you're being quizzed at home. What do you think, Pikachu? But I don't know that, it's my Star Wars. This is my Star Wars. And all I can see are these bitter old people that are out of touch. These old people that hate my Star Wars because they're, and it could be because they're bigots, and it could be because they're racist, and it could be, because they just don't like change and they don't get off my lawn. This is our Star Wars. This is my Star Wars. And I'm going to defend it. I'm going to take it personally. Because they don't see the striation, they don't see the sea change, and even if they did, they don't have to care. It's our Star Wars now. This is ours. We're gonna make stories for us, and that's like, there's a huge selfishness there. Or is it that selfishness balanced with the selfishness of the old fans? I say no, because all we really wanted were the continuation of good Star Wars stories in universe. It has the suspension of disbelief that you could believe this happens in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Andrew. What's most interesting to me is the willful ignorance involved with it. Yeah, I don't want to agree to lying to say, I don't want to agree to be like, oh, wow, the Acolyte was gray Yeezys. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, like, agree to saying, like, hey, I'm going to be critical about this and point things out. That doesn't make me evil or bad or unsavory. Have you really met lots of Disney Star Wars fans? I go to conventions and I hang out with the cosplayers for at least 15 minutes because I take pictures. They always have a couple of R2 units. There's usually always a Darth Vader involved. There's the Star Wars cosplayers are great, and they have a lot of young people. I saw a Cara Dune cosplayer 2 years ago with the 501st, and Gina Carano was at that. Was it? I always go to 2 cons usually in Boston a year. But I was like, oh hey, Gina Carano's here this year. You're gonna go, get her autograph? And she's like, no, I'm a Cara Dune fan. And she was a girl. She was like in her late teens, maybe early 20s. Yeah, it was just that is like the whole petulance, unlikable, insufferable vibe that they have, because this is our Star Wars. This is our religion. This is our activism. This is our, it's the whole thing, And but I meet enough of them. But I also meet people like through the show, through Wes's show, like Dylan, like Von Coleman, like Teresa Campagna. They're all under the age of 30, young people, legitimate young people, and these are the people I feel and that represent a good slice of, like, look at Teresa. She's got a huge channel. People watch her videos. I think she unfollowed me on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I'd unfollow her. Hey, that's the way it goes. Shit. I mean, like, was she ever following you in the first place? I thought she was. Whatever, though. Just like, I still watch her videos occasionally, I guess. But she's got a huge following. But the torch has been passed. There are a lot of young people out there that like the real stuff, that like the authentic brand, that aren't doing it because it's a stand-in for your ideology and they're a platform for activism. No, they genuinely like this galaxy a long, long time ago and a galaxy far, far away kind of thing. Yeah. Safe space. Kathleen Kennedy, safe space. Andor isn't a safe space. It isn't at all. Oh my goodness, Dwayne. I know. And but yeah, I mean, just like it's not about a modern audience. It's about breaking things down to a boutique selection. It's like treating the property like it's a magazine stand. That you have men's magazines, women magazines, and general audience magazines. So you have like Playboy, Cosmopolitan, Rolling Stone magazine, National Geographic, and all of these, you have Car and Driver, and you have like Weekly Reader. Is that what it was? Reader's Digest. Yeah. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? Good to see you. Happy Real Star Wars Day. Thanks for dropping by. It is Real Star Wars Day. Yeah, but so to flip my own narrative and not to punch down on the Disney folk, because it's like, I just don't want to. How do you not fight with Disney folk? Don't engage with them. And and they're gonna fucking try to bait you into something. Like, even this week, someone, like one of my mutuals, Script Trooper, was talking about Endor, and he might have been wrong on his assessment, but he got dogpiled by, just the people out there looking for a fight and looking to use Star Wars as their armor to dunk on chuds and to own a lib. That's not what Star Wars is about. That's what Disney Star Wars is about, though. It's probably another reason why I don't really dig on Disney Star Wars. It's like the end story are where the sides are. And I've always liked the bad guys too. Darth Vader. I love Palpatine. The Emperor is a wonderful character. He's such a good bad guy. He is irredeemable. See, Darth Vader ended up being the hero of the two trilogies. He is redeemed. It is the return of Anakin Skywalker by the return of the Jedi. That is the Jedi, and in the title itself. Well, yes, the Jedi are returning, especially with Luke becoming Jedi. You are, from Yoda himself. Even gave him his blessing and one of his dying breaths. Hey, Adam Frey. How are you? At the beach with you on the earbuds. Sweet. Enjoy yourself. Hope you use an SPF 50, and have plenty to drink. Water, that is, They need to drift away and see if they can create something on their own. They try, they do. Like Rebel Moon by Zack Snyder. I mean, there you go, right there. It's like, that is a rated R Star Wars, is it not? I mean, but it failed. It didn't get that audience. It didn't have that baked in brand recognition. But it did, hats off to Zack Snyder. He did try to do a sci-fi space opera with an epic scope, set in a lived-in, dingy, and almost written in a rated R-ish kind of action adventure. Maybe like that 80s, remember the Cannon movies and Golden Globus stuff of the 80s? Like the Commando, Predator, all the Schwarzenegger movies, Chuck Norris movies. I love that stuff, man. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone movies. It's just like the action adventure movies. But I really feel like Zack Snyder tried to do that with Rebel Moon. And guess what? Future Rebel Moons have been canceled. That's it. That's it for that franchise. It didn't launch. But still, we have Star Wars now. So I don't think like the modern audience, of course, that's some kind of myth. It really is. It's more of like individual tastes, making things on a boutique basis. So we have here's Acolyte, and that's made for our Pride people, our alphabet people. You know what I mean? And feminists. And here's Andor. This is your rated R spy show, primetime appointment TV, made on purpose like that. Hey, how are you? The day later, Rebel Moon has got some things that are just plain stupid, so I didn't watch. I haven't seen it either. I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan. Last Zack Snyder movie I watched was Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I watched that over lockdown on Netflix because I had plenty of time to watch it, and I actually really enjoyed the heck out of it. I didn't think I would. I saw Joss Whedon's Justice League at the movie theater, and I was like, "What the is this?" Eek. Needy activists. Yeah, activists are just needy. They need you to understand. They need you to let them use things as platforms. They need you to shut up and be acquiescent, or else. I mean, we just keep your activism out of it. Remember the general audience. Tell stories for all fans. Ugh. Happy new Star Wars. Happy real Star Wars Day. I wish there was new Star Wars to root for. But how do you know it's not going to be good until you watch it, until you experience it? You haven't experienced Andor. You haven't experienced Acolyte. You haven't experienced Obi-Wan. Well, I kind of have. I read the comic book adaptation for Obi-Wan, for Ahsoka Season 1, for Mandalorian Season 3. Marvel Comics does comic book adaptations of most of the Disney shows. I'm trying to remember if I read Andor. I'm not sure I did. But I read Kenobi. I read Mando 3. I read Ahsoka Season 1. There was no Book of Boba Fett adaptation that I'm aware of, or Skeleton and Crew. Was Acolyte? Did they do an Acolyte one? Did I read that already? Did you? I think I did. I didn't mind it. Did I? I don't. Ends when you read a lot of different comic books every week. There's just it kind of also, it turns into a one big blur after a while. It really does. Hey, at least I didn't have to read Ultimates 12 or Amazing Spider-Man before this week. It's still gonna happen. You never know. But yeah, it's. I like to say real Star Wars Day, but for me, I celebrate all month long. May is Star Wars month. George Lucas's birthday, Frank Oz's birthday, 501, the 501st, May the 4th. Revenge of the 5th. Those are kind of hokey. The 20th is Empire Day, because I think that's like the I don't know why, because on the 21st, that's when Empire Strikes Back comes out. I think on the also the 3 prequel movies come out in May as well, and of course today being the day of days, May 25th, the day that Star Wars came out in 1977, the day that Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. Haha, my red lightsaber. I want a Palpatine hilt. That would be my favorite lightsaber to get. You know, I always got one quoted for $900. I'm going to wrap the show up a little early today because I don't have, a dozen Marvel comics to review. So yeah, I mean, we've run out of material. We have, and I have to pee like a racehorse. So everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you're watching this in the replay. Use those comments. I take suggestions, make recommendations to each other. I love hearing that. What am I not reading? What do you think? What do you think I should be reading? Let me know in the comment section, please. And like, subscribe. Thank you so much. And great hanging out with you. See you later. May the force be with you. And you all have a great day. And thank you so much for dropping by today. Next week, we may or may not have a show. Depends. I'm flying out of Dallas first thing in the morning. So will I be home by 3:00? And will I want to even do a show? Maybe I will, to just give you a recap, because I'm going to Dallas Fan Expo next week to hang out with my non-delusional parasocial friends, the comics aficionados. Wes from Thinking Critical is visiting the States with his family, and we're going to all meet up in Dallas. If you are in the Dallas area next weekend, Friday, May 31st, and Friday, May 30th, Saturday, May 31st. Those are the 2 days I'll be there. All of us will be there on Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday's more of like a family day at the con anyway. I got a direct flight out of Dallas, but it's first thing in the morning, so I decided just to take that, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. I will have a full report for you all, and pictures, video segments too, and you never know. I'm gonna try. I said to Aaron Sparrow, why don't we just set up a laptop at the table at 10:00 and let it roll, and do and we can even check in, from artist alleys on our phones, through StreamYards. We could do that. Why not make a little show? We'll see if that happens. It might not, but it's an idea. Thank you so much for dropping in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in those funny pages from Pikachu and myself here from our Boston studios, the hub of the multiverse. Thank you. May the force be with you always. Do